Hello everyone. So in this video we'll talk about the calculate functions, the almighty calculate functions, the only function in Power BI that can allow you to remove a filter context. So I explained a filter context before. The filter context is just how DAX behave, and it's just kind of filter your measure or your calculations based on whatever category you put in there. But what if in a situation whereby you want to kind of remove the filter context? You want to just see the value the way it is. Let's say, for example, before I even select this, I have 100.5 billion here, and then I want to do a calculations that will just give me my 100.5 billion. I don't want it to filter by any category that I drop in my visual, right? So the way I can do that is to use the almighty calculate function. So calculate function is very important in DAX. I need to learn how to use it effectively. So let's see how the calculate functions behave. I'm going to do new measure. Okay, so I'm going to call this total revenue. Total revenue without filter, right? Total revenue without filter. That's what I'm going to call this measure. And what measure are we writing? Remember I said I want to use a powerful measure called calculate, right? And this is calculate right here. When you read about calculate, you see calculate, evaluate an expression in a context modified by filter. Evaluate an expression in a context modified by filter. So you can evaluate an expression and you modify the filter. You know, the default is just a filter context or a rule context. But right here, we can kind of modify the filter. That's what this means. And then this has like two or more arguments. So the first argument is the expression, and the second argument is the filter that you want to use. So you have to understand the expression and also understand the filter. In this case, expression is usually majorly your anchor measure. So those are like your total revenue or your sum or your count and the rest. So the expression, I'm going to reference my total revenue, which I've already written before, which is this my measure here. And what my filter is going to be is I want to remove the filter context. I don't want this to filter anything. So I can kind of use different filter functions. All these things you are looking at here, they are all filter functions. All of them are all filter functions, right? All of them you can see here, they are all filter functions. But the one I need is something like remove. So if I type remove right here, can you see remove filter here? So if I click on remove filter, you will see what remove filter is all about. Clear filter from the specified table or column. So if I want to clear the filter from my fact sales table, I'm just going to put fact sales table in there, and I'll close my bracket twice and I hit enter. Once I hit enter, I have been able to successfully remove filter. So let's put this into a table and see how it looks like. Okay, so look at this. So this is showing 100.5 billion, which is the same thing as the total. So typically, this has removed any filter context that might have been applied by the system. So it's no longer featuring my measure. So if I select anything here, even if I select any filter here, you will see that my total revenue without filter is still 100.5 billion. It's not removing anything. Another way I can also do that, if I kind of show you another measure, writing the same calculate measure. So I want to write a total revenue without filter 2. Total revenue without filter 2. So in this particular one, I'm still going to write calculate, and here I'm going to put my total rev, just like I put total rev the last time. But I'm not going to use remove filter this time. I can say instead of removing the filter, I want all the value in the factors table. I want all the values. So just give me all. So I can use the filter called all. So when you look at all, you see return all the rows in the table or all the values in the column, ignoring any filter that may have been applied. So it's the same thing as remove filter, right? Because this is also ignoring the filter. It is removing the filter context. So I want all the details in the fact sales table, right? And when I hit enter, let's see how this is going to behave as well. So total revenue without filter 2. So let me bring this into the table and let's see what this is going to show us. Now you can see this is also 100.5 billion. Even though you're using any filter, it's not going to affect this measure in any way. Now, another question you should kind of ask me is, what of if I want the total of whatever is here based on the filter contest? I want the total of a filter. So you can also want the total of a filter contest. So if you look at this model right now, the total here is 1.279. So if I select public holiday, the total here is 2.651. So what if I want that total here to perform something in a calculation, right? So that is kind of simple. So the only thing you're going to use is to alter the filter a little bit. So let me go back and do a new measure, and I'm going to write the third one. Okay, so I'm going to call this total revenue, total revenue, uh, revenue based on selected filter, selected filter, based on selected filter. So here I'm going to write a calculate, this same calculate. I'm going to put a total revenue right here. I'm going to put a comma. So this time I'm not going to use all, right? All is kind of taking everything, but what about if I use something called all selected? So look at this, all selected. So anything I'm selecting, that is what is going to kind of remove a filter contest on. So if I do all selected of fact sales, all selected of fact sales, that's what is going to remove a filter contest on, right? So let me hit enter and let's see how this is going to look like in our table. Okay, so if I drop this right here inside here, you will see that this is typically showing me 2.6651, which is basically the total of the selected filter contest, and this is returning the actual total of everything. So let me select observance as well. You see this observance here is 842, and this is also 842. So this is how to alter a filter contest with Almighty Calculate.